How's it going, brother?
Kozak the Mars. He has the coolest name in the whole world.
Dude, you have the coolest name, man. You've got like three names in yours. It's brilliant.
His name is Kozak Mars.
How are you keeping,
And
brother?
it's such a cool name. What's up, man?
We both of us have three things in our name. Jamie J. Carr, Kozak deMars. Isn't
Is
that
yours
great?
is your name real? Because mine's
No,
fake.
no, mine's fake, man. Mine's fake.
Nice.
No, I thought yours was real.
Kozak the Mars. Oh my god.
I should have you at the start of the show, like introducing the show and stuff like that.
I'll
I think
do it
that'd be
every
great.
time. I'll do it live. I'll just pop in for 30 seconds and just go, Come, Zach the Mars. His name makes you want to have sex with other people. Oh, yeah.
Jeez, I didn't know that. That would be interesting if that actually was the truth.
It is the truth. Anytime, like someone said, "Do you want to be on Kozak the Mars podcast?" and I was instantly aroused, and I didn't even know it at the time. I was just like so aroused right now. And they were like, "Yeah, it's the syllables, man. They do it to you.
It's
Them
the
three
syllables,
syllables."
man. It's all about those syllables, brother.
Oh yes. How are you getting on? I'm loving the
I'm
show.
good.
You've had some great guests on. The two drummer lads there in the band
Yeah.
that play music with class.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, the show's great. No, I just love the variety, man. I love bringing on like mix of musicians, comedians, and like influencers, people that are like putting positivity into the air, man. You know, positivity into the community. I think it's super important, and I think what you do as well is super important as well with your videos, with your comedy, with your interaction with people. I think it's great. So when I used to follow your stuff. Not that I don't anymore. We'll see. But it was actually the social kind of conversations that you had, and I know there was a lot of comedy embedded into it. But like it was like, you know, what's your favorite north side or south side, that kind of stuff. And I thought it was really good, man. The way you were able to just kind of treat everybody equally, and your approach to it was really good. So
Thanks very
um,
much, man. Yeah, I've been grinding on the streets for years now with them type of videos. And how did I come across doing them videos? In college, I just seen someone doing one of them on the street videos, and I was like, I could do that and add a bit of, you know, my uniqueness to it in a way.
mm,
And it took me a while to get comfortable on the streets making videos. But after a while, it just became like a formula. I just
mm,
went out to the street. I kind of seen the people on the street as numbers in a way, because the worst thing about them street videos is like out of every 20 people you ask, one person will stop. So it can
mm.
be it can be quite tough going and degrading, being
Yeah.
rejected all the time.
That's
So
that's it actually, yeah, because you never think about that because all you're seeing is the ones that are going to interact with you, of course. So we don't
yeah,
see the
yeah,
behind the
yeah,
scenes.
yeah. Mostly it's just get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing the podcast. I'm not doing the. I'm not talking on camera. Or then some people come up to you and they're about to talk to you because they see the microphone. They're like, yeah, yeah, I'll do it, no bother. And then they look and go, oh Jesus, there's a camera there. I'm not doing that. But there's some. I think you get the most characters in Dublin. Like it's just Dublin is a mad place full of mad characters, and
Yeah.
you know, what I like about doing them videos. Sorry, I'm going on a
No, I
tangent.
love it. Love it. Keep
What I
going.
like about doing them videos is, a lot of media places kind of filter people down to look a certain way, whereas I kind of let everybody have a voice.
Mm,
Whether I don't care who am I to judge? I'm just a chap on the street with a YouTube channel and a Facebook page talking to people. So I
mm.
think that's what separated when I was whacking them videos out. What separated them videos to like mainstream media was that I was just giving everybody a voice, whether they coursed, whether they were, had addictions, whether they did this or that. I didn't judge. I just let them say what they wanted to say.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. It's great. Maybe that's why I was kind of drawn to you a bit in that way because there's no filters or anything, and I do enjoy that as well, even within this show. Because obviously I'm just new to it, and but I do enjoy the natural esque sort of vibe of people just expressing themselves however they want to, however they feel. Let them talk because there is too much censorship in the world right now, and I definitely don't want to be part of it.
There is,
Mm,
and especially like, with Dublin and Ireland, it's obviously we try to paint a picture of joy and love and everyone's sound and we'll buy you pints to get tourists over. But like we all know that if you go into the city centre, it's a jungle. Like, full of all different types of wonderfully crazy people. And
mm,
you know, I enjoy that element of Dublin, you know.
Yeah, me too. Me
I
too.
embrace it.
Mm.
Like obviously you're gonna have some bad elements too, but mainly it's just people being people, and you know, I love it.
What got you? Because you studied what media communication. So it was kind of. Did you follow kind of like a journalistic sort of point of view? Is that something that interested you?
Well, I think I'm a jack of all trades at the minute. I still haven't chosen one avenue what to do. You know, I'm kind of like
Mm.
a bit like yourself. I'm only starting with the podcast that I'm doing. I'm doing
It's going
comedy.
great. It's going great for a
Thank you.
start.
I kind of, I don't want any. I just want to just have chats with people. You know,
Mm.
and I don't really have any plans behind it. It's just more get people on, have a chat for an hour, and talk a bit of crap and enjoy ourselves. But yeah, I did a mixed media course in Colosh to do like that was like, you know, they teach you a little bit of sound, a little bit of interview techniques, a little bit of documentary making, a little bit of filmmaking. So I think that it's kind of led on to me being still not knowing where I am, because I like all elements of media at the minute. I like filmmaking, I
Mm.
like being in front of the camera, I like being behind the camera, I like talking shite, you know, I like streaming. So we'll pick one day and we'll get there, but
Mm.
we'll
It's
get there.
hard. It's hard to choose one thing, man. I think, especially if you are kind of maybe that's your personality. Like you just like to have multiple projects going. That's like me though. I don't know. Maybe we have
Yeah,
the
but I
same.
don't know if it's beneficial to me. You know what I mean?
Depends on your aspirations, right? Like what kind of stuff are you aspiring to? Are you aspiring for like greatness, for kind of success in certain
Yeah,
ways with
yeah.
regard to career?
You know, I just want to be creative, and I want to make stuff that nobody else is making. You know, and I
Mm.
want to try and be as true to me and unique to me as I can be, whilst also either evoking some sort of emotion in other people, whether that be through the medium of documentary making, film making, podcasts, even just streaming, playing a game. I don't know yet, but
Mm.
we'll get there. I've made some documentaries too. I really enjoy that, you know, professional element of it, and I've I've been in marketing as well. So look, I have me toes dipped in a few different ponds at the minute, and I just have to pick which pond is the warmest. I'm talking absolute shite,
No,
guys.
I like that because people usually say pies, so I'm glad you were using possibly a created, which actually I guess shows your creativity, right? Which is really because you always
I'm
hear the
just
same
looking for
stuff.
the warmest pond. How's that?
Yeah,
I just want to go
you're
swimming.
just looking out into out the window, aren't you? Just going, I want to be out there. I don't want to be doing this indoors.
Yeah, man. Look at I'm enjoying it at the minute though. I'm enjoying
Oh,
just
that's
being
most
creative
important.
in whatever capacity it is. And yeah, that's so I'm enjoying it. Look at and
Yeah.
what will be. I'll choose one avenue eventually and go down that road. But for now, I'm enjoying kind of experimenting with a few different things.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Do you
sounds
have like no, it's great. No, it is actually, and I totally get it, and I think a lot of people get that as well. Especially like people in their 20s. Like I'm 30 now. I'm going 31, right? But my 20s were just such a mix of different things. Like my core was kind of music, maybe like comedy was your core,
yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah,
had
yeah.
something that was kind of true to your heart. But like trying to express that, there's so many different options you can sort of do it in, right? You can do it in sketches, you can do it in movies, you can do it in, but perhaps as well that yearning to interact with people as well kind of combines,
Yeah, I
because I
love
love
that.
that
Look
too.
at no matter what avenue I go down, I'll still
Mm,
do things like the interviews on the streets and podcasts and stuff like that. That will always be an element that I
mm,
enjoy. I love interacting with people. So that's never gonna change. But yeah, I think I need to choose one though, professionally,
mm.
and go for that. What do you think of Marty here? Look at him. You
Yeah,
see
he's
him?
looking well, looking well.
He's
Did you
looking
did you
great.
is that just a picture? Is that through Zoom? Is it? You're just doing
No,
like a.
he's actually behind me
He's
now.
actually.
He's in there. Yeah, I told him not to move. Don't move, Marty.
He's making faces behind your back,
You
man.
better not, because I thought he did that the last podcast. Marty, I mean, you stay there now. He's mad. He just keeps mad. Yeah, he
I love
wanted
his
to.
tash though. He's got a really thick tash going. It's a bit. I'm a bit jealous because like I've got my quarantine sort of facial
Oh,
hair
it's a
going. It's
sexy
not.
tash. Look at his pose, though. Look at
Yeah,
that. Look at
yeah,
that. You
yeah,
know, look
yeah.
at that.
It's beautiful.
Come on.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But going back to.
We don't have to. We can keep talking about
No, but I
Marty.
have a point. I think it's because everything's becoming so accessible now. You can easily make a documentary now. Well, not easily, but it's a lot easier than it was, you know, 20
Mm,
or 10 years ago even. You can
mm,
easily make a podcast now, or you can easily you know, buy a decent enough camera that can make a movie. So
Yeah.
I think everything's kind of tantalizing at the moment. You know, it's like, oh, I could kind of do that if I put a bit of effort. So yeah,
Mm.
that's just another point.
And how much time per day? Like, do you have like a routine that sort of gets you like get these projects? Because if you're doing a lot of stuff, like I know it, it's hard to routine everything because your brain is just
Yeah,
like, I want to
yeah,
do all
yeah.
these things at once, and there's not enough time. My computer's not fast enough to render this shit. Come on, hurry up! Like your brain's faster than your computer, and it's frustrating. How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think, look, if I'm doing a professional thing and I'm collaborating with people, like while I was making a documentary last year called Boy to Woman, it was a documentary about a man turning into a woman physically, you know.
Mm.
She was already a woman mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, like, you know, it was a tight schedule and we'd meet up 2 or 3 times a week and do some pre-production, and then the filming obviously was scheduled, and then after that. But kind of at the minute now, I'm just kind of doing things when I feel like it, you know,
Mm.
especially with this. I know it has to get brought up every time there you're having a chat with somebody with the COVID stuff that's happening. It's kind of like everything's kind of on pause, so it's kind of even making me more just, you know, laid back and kind of doing things when I should, which is not great. I should have some more structure.
Mm.
But if I'm collaborating with somebody else and it's a serious project, then I'm structured, and
Mm.
you know, it'd be whatever day time. But at the minute, it's kind of just like I'll get a guest for me podcast, do that, or you know, I'm making a documentary for Sir Steve Altamati, who we had on the podcast. You had him on the podcast, didn't you, Sir Steve
Yeah,
Altamati?
2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
making a documentary for him on Saturday, so I'll be there on Friday and Saturday, and then obviously, well, I'll have to edit that, so I'll be doing that every day. So at the minute, to answer your question, no, I don't really
Mm.
have any structure at the minute. But I would say if anybody's watching, like, you should have a structure. Don't
No,
fucking,
don't. You don't have to. You don't have to guide people or anything. You're grand.
yeah,
But I mean, no, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, I suppose when you have to, when you're working with somebody else, there's a bigger responsibility. But right now, it's kind of like, it's you have to kind of. I would expect people to be a bit more kind of on the casual side and sort of like being kinder to themselves, like. For in whatever form that whatever that means, like because there is a lot of shit going on outside. No matter how
there
much we try to
is.
focus away from it, I don't know if it has a subconscious effect on us.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's kind of like there's an energy.
Mm,
I don't know. Like, I'm not like fucking Joe Rogan tapping into energies or anything like that, but there is always like a societal energy that
mm,
you can feel, and I feel like the societal energy or community energy, that's kind of in the air at the minute, is kind of just like, if it was an expression, it'd be kind of like this expression where it's just like,
just utter
you
shock.
know, you're just laying back in the chair and you're just like, uh you
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. Stiff as a
Uh,
plank. I mean,
but
it's
then again, people are doing great stuff in this during this isolation. Like, you know, I set up the
mm,
podcast that I'm doing. I've had some wonderful chats. You're doing your little podcast, and lots of creative people are pure whacking different things out at the minute, you know,
mm,
and coming up with new ideas that they mightn't have had time to do while they were in a full time job, or if they got laid off or they're temporarily out of their job or not working as much through COVID. So there are good things to this as well. People are being creative. Obviously, it's horrific that people are dying, and it's horrible. And please God, may it end soon. But
mm.
I think, you know, there is a lot of potential to come up with new ideas and take that day that you were going to take and write that comedy sketch or that short film that you had on your mind for ages, or
Mm.
that music video that you wanted to get done and storyboard it. So I think a lot of creative people are thriving at the minute in the isolation because they're being forced to isolate. And
Yeah,
as you know, as a fellow creative, like, if we get bored very easily, we have to do something, you know,
absolutely.
to keep our mind from going insane. So I think a lot of people you're going to see a lot of projects and original stuff that in the next couple of years because of this isolation all over the world. I think, whether it be through the medium of art, and I say art in an umbrella sense of music and film and documentary and loads of more unique projects that you're going to see
Definitely.
from this isolation.
I
Definitely.
agree with you, man. Yeah, and I think as well. On top of that, it's actually beautiful how much artists. Or sorry, okay. There's a few things actually. How people that never thought that they were artistic or were afraid to approach it or afraid to do stuff or too busy with their humdrum life, to actually do a project, do painting or do some comedy or do that thing, to actually try it now. It feels like there's a lot of more braveness kind of comes out in these
Yeah.
hard times, doesn't it? It makes people a bit tougher skinned, perhaps even.
Yeah, and I think it brings back to earth like people how finite our time here is on
Mm.
this
That's
planet.
probably
Like,
it, actually. Yeah.
and people just
Mm.
kind of they're sitting in their houses and like I always think like that. It's kind of a course. I'm always you know, well, it's a course and a gift. I always think about how short of a life we have here, on this little planet for a tiny amount of time in a massive eternity. So I think a lot of people are probably sitting at home doing a lot of thinking, and they're like, oh, this could all end, anytime. So
Finally,
I
yeah.
should probably make that song I was gonna do, and if people don't like it, who gives a fuck? Because we're all gonna be dead forever at some stage anyway. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I think
in a positive way.
in just to add that little bit in the end there, just in case someone's not feeling great today, that's just gonna make you feel a little bit better or worse. I love it. No, you're right. You're
Look,
right.
it's the truth,
It
though,
is the
man.
truth. We need to hear the truth, man. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I definitely felt that. I got a little bit of a shock at the start of this. I think a lot of people might have. Everybody feel has different emotions towards these kind of situations. Some of them curl up even for a bit, even if it's temporary or whatever, and hide or whatever from it. And then some people actually push themselves out more and push against it even more. So whatever that means, is in put themselves out there more, or however. So people react to these kind of situations. It's great. It's interesting to understand the psychological and sociological sort of behaviors
Yeah,
of people and different types of people within a situation that the world has really never seen. The modern world has never seen. The modern technological age has never seen. Will it ever see it again? It's fascinating. It's so
yeah,
fascinating. And that's why I love speaking to so many different people about this topic and touching on it if it comes around. I love how we actually got around to talk about this, because sometimes I don't get the chance to, at least
yeah.
once a week somebody will touch on it. But it's fascinating stuff. What's
I think
mhm,
I
go on.
think I think people are a lot stronger than they think as well,
Mm,
mentally. Like I know I have friends of mine, I'm sure you do, that are like, oh, the gym is closed. I need the gym every day, or I need to do. I won't be able to cope without work. But then people adapt to this different situations. That's the great thing about human nature is we're actually awesome at adapting, whether we like it or not. What I mean? If we're forced into a situation, you can find different ways to keep your mind going. And, if there are people at home struggling, I would recommend trying that new project that you wanted to do, or getting into trying to learn a new skill that you always wanted to do, and maybe you will enjoy it more than you think. You know what I mean? Especially because you can kind of relax a bit and go, well, I'm being forced into doing it because of the situation. But yeah, I
mm.
like these deep chats as well, man. I could talk for hours about deep shit
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough of them, enough people maybe to talk about it. I don't know. I mean, you meet so many people, and you yourself as well, like, being kind of interacting with so many people. It's nice to sort of pull back away from the sort of casual chats, which are fantastic. The sort of, not, I don't want to sound pretentious or anything. I do like having chats with any sort of anything. I love to cover anything. Everything fascinates me anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just a
yeah,
curious person, but it's always nice to kind of go in a little bit deeper and delve into sort of those kind of topics too, especially during this time, because I guess I don't know. I'm kind of observing a lot more. I don't know about yourself, like, but I'm looking around a lot more, even at myself, like how my own brain's thinking, my own perception of myself as a person. Like, what kind of what kind of keywords is my brain say about me, and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I've kind of been working on myself. Have you like been sort of getting some sort of revelation over
Yeah,
about yourself
yeah, yeah,
recently?
I have been, man. See, I'm similar age to yourself, so I'm pushing 30 now in November, and I'm kind of like sitting here going, right, I've done me kind of, as we were talking about, I'm experimenting in all different types of fields. It's like, right, come on, Jamie, you're hitting 30 here. Let's get this going. Like, you said you always wanted to be successful. You want to make people laugh. You want to, entertain and do certain things. It's like you're not going to have forever to do that. So let's get it going. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that, and then I'm kind of thinking, why do I want to do that as well? Internalizing, why do I not want to just get a job that pays like consistently, or so I've been doing a lot of self thinking as well, which I don't think is a bad thing.
Mm,
And if anything, it's kind of made me more motivated to um succeed. Yourself.
mm.
Kozak. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been introspective throughout this, which isn't always a bad thing.
No, I don't think
As
so. I think it's
Marty,
very healthy.
Marty's been sitting here, just he's in deep meditation now. He's just behind. He's just behind me. You think that's a picture that's not a
He's
photo.
staring into my soul, man.
Yeah, well, he gets like that around this time. It's 3 o'clock now, isn't it? Just past three, 20 past 3. So he gets in that stage where this is his peak time. So
This is peak time.
you would think he just looks like a photograph, but he's deep in meditation. He's thinking about how he can make William Street better. They're thinking about
Oh,
changing
that's a good one.
they're thinking about changing it though from a wheel to putting a toad into a box, and the toad has to, whatever segment the toad lands in, it's the prize amount that you win.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
he told me that the other day, but he's obviously he's gonna work on that, So
He's very quiet now. Like he's very quiet
yeah,
about it. I guess
yeah, yeah.
he's
And I
maybe he's
look the
absorbing.
way he can hold his whole head with just his
Yeah, he's just
fingertips.
He's
Casual,
just
yeah.
there. Like
He's doing it the last 2 hours, and
fair
I'm not
play
going to
to him.
disturb him too much. But
No, no, no. We leave him in
I'll,
there.
I'll get him to give you a ring after the show when he comes out of meditation to
We'll
say hello.
we'll have
You
a
might
little
come on.
chat afterwards for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what's the? I should have a I should have a fucking mascot or something. Like I'm kind of thinking maybe I should like
Well,
enhance the show in some
Marty,
ways.
I have a contract with Marty, so I've paid him. You can't take him from me. I've paid him about 30 grand to do this every time I go live.
Not
So,
bad, not
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. Maybe you could get I don't know, Gary Lineker, or I don't know, just the first person that
I'm gonna
you
buzz him. I'm gonna
to
buzz him
do
after
that.
this and see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What's the Irish like? What's the comedy? I've only literally got into the comedy scene recently here. As a musician, and an event sort of promoter. I've done a couple of. I've run into sort of some comedic nights that I'll in Shin A downstairs or Whelan's upstairs. They do the Cherry. I'm gonna say it wrong, shit. But
Cherry comedy night or whatever.
yes, yeah, 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 which is great and it's lovely. But what's your perception of it? And I want to ask you another question after this as well on this
Yeah.
topic. Um,
In what sense? Like, in what sense?
like
What is
have like is there a way to sort of rise through like the sort of comedic world on a sort of live perspective, let's say, like I didn't expect
Yeah,
that
well,
question,
well
right? Sorry.
no, you're okay. See, I don't do a lot of stand-up comedy. I did stand-up comedy like when I was starting out, and it's something that I want to pursue a lot. But I do kind of comedy through videos at the moment because I haven't got the balls at the minute to do stand-up. You would think that I'm quite outgoing, which I
Mm,
am, but stand-up comedy scares me a lot. I've done 2 or 3 gigs. They went okay, but it kind of took a lot out of me. But then again, I was 2021 when I was doing stand-up comedy. I only did 3 or 4 gigs.
mm,
It's something I want to get back into. But I would say, with the likes of social media now, it's just do whatever you want. If you have an original idea, take some time, write it out, and record it, put it up on TikTok, Facebook,
mm.
Instagram. If you get a few likes, work on the next video and how you can make that better, storyboard, script it, stuff like that. I think if anybody's interested in doing comedy, I think now is the perfect time to do it because
Mm.
you don't need to be approved by a television station anymore. If you save up 300 or 400 quid, you can hire a cameraman and a sound guy and an editor who will do it for you. So I think now is such an exciting opportunity, and I think that's why you're going to see a lot more comedians and funny people bursting through the seams because it's more accessible and easier to do than ever.
Mm.
So it's exciting for me as well, in terms of comedy and comedy sketches, what I can produce over the next 2 or 3 years now, with the experience I have of failing a lot of the time as well, to see what I can do. And thankfully, I'm in a position now where I know a lot of camera people. I know a lot of funny people. It's not really that hard for me to cast people in the sketch if I want to.
Mm.
So I'm excited to do that, and I would encourage anybody to do it. And if anybody is interested in making comedy sketches or going out and doing street interviews, don't say to yourself, "Oh my God, there's loads like 10 or 20 good, really popular people on Facebook or YouTube already doing it." Just do it because there's enough to go around for everybody,
Yeah.
and there's an audience there for everybody. And look, you're not just going to go viral overnight, or get popular overnight. Just it takes a while, so don't get deflated if you make something that is shit. Just move on to the next one.
Persistence is key, isn't it? It's just like repetition, learning from your mistakes, seeing your mistakes as sort of like a not really a mistake, right? It's a lesson, right? Some people
Yeah,
say.
I think also accepting your if something doesn't do well, like because look, I'm doing this a while now, and I'm not where I want to be at the minute. I want to be in a much better position than I am right now. But I enjoy the process, and I accept when I make a video that maybe gets 10 likes, and then the week before I made a video that gets 700 likes and
Hmm.
300 shares, and people are calling me a genius, and you have to take that stuff with a pinch of salt as well, the compliments as
You can't
well.
rest on your laurels because then if you don't get it the next week afterwards,
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah.
game of fucking table tennis, isn't it? It's
Oh,
back
it's
and
so
forth and
fickle. It's so fickle, but you can't pay
mm,
attention to it too much. Even in
mm,
what you're doing, if 1 week you get loads of viewers on your radio show or your stream, and then next week you don't,
mm,
there is always that element of people will. Some people are enjoying it anyway. So I think
mm,
the less power we give to the numbers, the more numbers we can get. I think and that's
yeah.
something I'm working on as well. Like, I don't want to just create content that I know people will click on like because it's relevant. I kind of want to make content that's unique to me, whether
Mm.
it's I don't know. Yeah.
It's realistic. It's your real expression. It's like it's not you're not pretending like you. Well, you're acting at times, right? But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's true to you, is what I'm trying to say. You're not
See,
trying to be
yeah.
somebody else. You're being Jamie J. Carr. It's your pure essence, whatever that means exactly.
Yeah, well,
But
I'm
it's true to
trying to
you.
do that. I'm
Yeah.
trying to do that. It's a
Mm.
process that I'm working on. I'm
Yeah.
trying to do. I'm trying to be as me as possible, while
Mm.
also, obviously hamming it up a lot. I
Yeah.
don't wear sunglasses all the time. I'll take these off after this podcast, but I just throw them on, add a bit of a weird element to the podcast. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. That's
I'll
character,
tell
and
I'll tell Marty Whelan to leave after the podcast is over. He's not going to sit around and have dinner with the kids.
you're not gonna
Uh,
make love to him after this, no?
I might. He is looking
That's why I
particularly
was a bit
sexy
jealous.
today.
Like I
Yeah,
thought
I might. I'm liking them trousers. It's
the
the
cacks are beautiful, man.
don't know what's under there is kind of
No.
arousing. I'm a straight man, but it's the unknowingness of it
Same.
that
No, I'm a straight man too, but I like it's still like it's hard to say no sometimes. You know
and
yourself.
he is good at handling that wheel on winning streaks. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
I
about.
love it. It's great. No,
Uh,
I wasn't expecting
I'm
that.
trying to get Marty Whelan on the my
Are you
podcast.
actually?
I did it. I did a thing on Twitter. It was kind of a satirical thing, taking the piss out of when people say, 50 retweets and I'll eat my own
Oh,
ass, or 25 retweets and I'll box me neighbor. Well,
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
really say that, but they,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
So I kind of did it satirically, and I put that exact picture of Marty in the background on Twitter, and I said, if this tweet gets 100 retweets, Marty Whelan will come on my podcast. Now, I got 100 retweets, right? But Marty Whelan has no idea that
Oh, really? Did you not
there
tag
is
him or anything? Or?
no, there is no contract, or there's no verbal
So
agreement.
what do you have to do? You have to dress
I
somebody
don't
up as
know
him.
where I go next now with this, because
Just
it's got 100 retweets, and the people are expecting Marty. So I'm gonna have to try and email, I don't know, Lyric FM or whatever he's on, and kind of screenshot to them. And if that doesn't work, maybe we'll get Kozak, deMars on
with a
as a
tash.
wig and a tash, and we'll just say, we'll have to make it known that it isn't Marty Whelan, so we don't get sued. But
Yeah.
at the start, we'll just do a quick thing where we go, "This isn't really Marty Whelan," and we go, "Marty, how are you?"
We'll do
And
a
then,
disclaimer or
but
like
yeah,
yeah.
it's like when you, what you call that, dig yourself into the mud. Is that the expression? Or what's that called when you keep on putting yourself in a worse
Dig your own
situation?
grave, is it?
No, yeah, I don't know, but
One of those.
yeah, it
Something with
is.
digging
Yeah, yeah,
anyway.
yeah. But I've
Digging
digged
your
so
own
hard
hole, digging
that
your
I'm
hole
nearly in
deeper.
Australia. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
with this, but we'll see what happens.
No, it's great. I do you know Vitesse? You know that meme, the Russian guy that sings.
Is that
Uh,
the fella that goes? Ha, ha,
yeah. The
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I messaged him on Facebook, and their
Nice.
manager got back to me and said, "Sorry, Vitas doesn't speak English," because I wanted to interview him. And
Oh,
then
that
I
would have been beast.
and then I said, "Oh shit, that's a shame. No worries. Thanks for getting back." And then he said, "But if you're looking for we're looking for a tour manager to help us tour Europe. And I was like, okay, that's
What the
weird
hell?
that they actually said, I'm just a randomer. But I said, like, you know, I'm representing, you know, deMars Entertainment. So that sounds a little bit
Oh yeah,
fancy.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
that's the
Go for it,
trick.
man. Say yes. Take
That's the trick.
fucking
No, I said, would you like to have a Zoom chat on Thursday, which was Thursday gone. And I also said I have a Russian translator, by the way, which I
nice.
don't, but like I
Yeah,
will get one, obviously. Like
and
there's,
have you got on to them? What happened on Thursday?
I wrote back to them. They didn't get back to me. So
Feck,
yeah, yeah,
feck.
yeah. But amazing though, like that somebody got like it's just amazing just reaching out like that. You know the Paul Bear, the coffin meme dancer.
Now I haven't seen the podcast, but I told a few people that I was coming on this podcast, and they've said that they were like, "You won't believe who he had on his podcast." And they were telling me, "How the hell? Yeah, how did
Insane.
that happen?"
It was just it's just like literally Twitter. I just contacted Twitter. The guy just wrote back saying like contact me on WhatsApp on this. I rang him straight away and was just like, hey, what's up? The same stitch, you know. Kozak from, or I was like Dave Kozak from deMars Entertainment, and needed to sound a little bit professional, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he was having none of it. He was just like, oh yeah, show me your, you know, we just need to see which because we've got like 80 interviews lined up, you know, naturally.
Oh my
And they were like,
god.
but we're picking them in order of like how much, you know, followers each pod. And I was like, oh, this is gonna go nowhere because I've got like fucking 70 subs on YouTube. I've got, you know, 700 likes on deMars Entertainment, blah blah blah.
Don't
And
mind the numbers, Kozak. Don't mind the
I
numbers.
know, and I didn't mind. Like, obviously, you know, I'll still go for anything. I don't mind, you know. But I was like, how do I portray this, you know? And I was like, well, we're based in Ireland, and we focused on live shows, and now we've moved on to podcasts, you know, hence the low numbers. And you know,
It's
we were in
nuts.
touch with Irish influencers. We had, you know, five, you know, and I mentioned Steve-O Timothy, you know,
Yeah.
his following range and stuff. But he's like, "Ooh, influencers, no way!" And then and that's where his eyes lit up. And then he was talking to me for 10 minutes, like going, "Oh yeah, 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 no way." And he was the one chatting to me. So I don't know what happened. It was just
But
very random,
maybe he was the lucky one being able to talk to Kozak deMars, you know?
possibly.
Life is all about perspective, man. Don't
Absolutely,
give
man.
people too much power, because then you'll give yourself less power. We're all on an even playing field here,
That's
you
great
know?
advice, man. That is actually true.
Um,
You know, 100%.
we're all on an even playing field here. Like, yeah, but the same goes if you do have that attitude. It's crazy who you can talk to and who you can become friends with. Like, I
Mm,
was an idol of Ken Doherty for years.
mm,
You know, growing up now, I know he's not the Conor McGregor of this generation, but to me, when I was a kid, he was the Conor McGregor or the Cristiano Ronaldo. And I just reached out to him, and he came on my podcast for an hour long and chatted to me, and I love that chap, you know. I send him little DMs now the odd time, say good night to him sometimes at night time. I just say good night, Ken. But yeah,
very good. No,
I'm
it's
sure,
great. It is.
I'm sure that's only the start of you'd be talking to me next year a bit, and after interviewing Bono and, you know, Donald Trump. It's all there for
It's
the
same as
take.
yourself. Like that's the thing. Like we there's no you're right. There's no limit. Like there shouldn't be a limit. There shouldn't be a kind of a barrier to entry between
No,
people, whether no matter how many following they have. Now is a good time to contact people because they're working less, you know, and they're not in their comfort zone and stuff. So this is a great time to run a podcast, in my opinion, you know. And that's why it made sense to me to contact like the most random of people, just like you're doing, not holding back, not having a picture in my head going, oh no, they're gonna say the worst thing they can say is no or not write back,
yeah, and
you
you
know.
can't take it personal either. You
Absolutely
know,
not.
it's like, because then who knows, in a couple of months' time, if your podcast gets bigger, you can message them again, and then they might come on, or eventually you
Mm,
get them. You know, that's the way I see it. So I don't mind asking people, and if they don't even reply, or if they give me the scene, I get
mm,
it, because sometimes I give people the scene and I'm fucking nobody. But it's
mm.
like, oh, I have my dinner on, I quickly look at the message, and I see it, and I put my phone down. And or the kids are just calling me. One of them needs their ass wiped or something. You know, it's like it happens. So yeah, you just have to keep grinding, and
Mm.
I think that's why you will be successful, and not that you aren't already, but I think that's why you will
Like
go
long way to
forward.
go, just like and the
Just
vision
like same as me,
the
man.
vision's far, and I think you have your certain vision where you kind of like well, a rough sketch, I guess. You know, I don't know about yourself. I'm kind of like got the rough sketch sort of going. It becomes clearer and clearer now and then sometimes it changes and morphs. Right? I don't know if you've the same
Yeah,
thing.
I think that's the way with a lot of people, you know.
Mm,
But I think the first step is having that goal. You know,
mm,
that's the first step. The second step is actually, you know, doing some sort of action towards
definitely.
that goal.
Mm,
And then look at your, if you do one small thing every day to take it closer to it, you might actually get to it in the end, you know. And that's what I'm hoping. And at least, even if I get to 40 or 50 years of age, or 60 or 70, and I look back, I can say, well, even if I don't get to where I want to be, I can say, well, I definitely gave it a good fucking bash, you know.
Mm,
Yeah, you
absolutely.
know, and I'd rather do that than look back and go, "Jeez, I was doing well with that podcast, and I gave up on it, and who knows where that went if I had kept doing that, or you know." So that's kind of why I do all these different little things. Like I go out onto the street and I do street interviews, or I make a
Mm.
comedy sketch, or I mean the Try channel, tasting foods. You know, I don't know if you know about the Try channel. It's a big channel. It's a great channel as well, by the way. Yeah, so that's it, man.
That's
You have to
awesome.
just go for it, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I definitely see you as being a very consistent, um, creative person. You know,
Hopefully,
so it's you can
hopefully.
see the consistency with your work, though. You know, as in like you've definitely putting in a lot of work, and you're growing as well through your projects. And I guess taste naturally will change as well. You know, you might you might want to try out a little bit of this or do that, and you might be doing a little, also the social climate, as we know right now, you know, does alter as well our creative output. But you're constantly creating, which is amazing. So you're
That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, and I will. I'm working on that at the minute, and I'm trying to be more consistent. You know, there was gaps of like 2 or 3 months in videos that I was putting up when I was doing great at the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's one of my downfalls is not being consistent enough back a few years ago. You know, but
Mm.
I have the fire in my belly now. I'm drinking petrol, and we're all ready to go.
I love it, brother. I love it. Listen, Jamie, it's been a pleasure chatting to you and getting to know you, man.
Yeah,
I'm
same to you,
definitely
man.
looking forward to this chat.
You're very similar mindset to myself, which is I think that's how we chat for hours, which is great. So I'd definitely love to come on in another couple of months' time,
Yeah.
and we keep this a current thing. And I'll get you on my podcast, the Jamie J Car Podcast, which sometimes I host in the Nip. If anybody's interested,
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I'll say anything to get them over to me.
I love it, man.
Maybe that'll discourage them.
No, no, man, I love it, and I love your humor, man, and I actually admire it. And before I let you go, because I do have other guests as well, but I just want to say it to you, just in front of people, I do genuinely admire your humor, and I admire comedians a lot, because I kind of want to work on my humor as well. You know, I want to work and add that into my shows and things like that, because it's so nice to be able to feel so free and just so loose and have a laugh, because it's so important to laugh, especially during times like these, man. So what you're doing, I think, is great. And thanks so much for the time, brother. It's been a pleasure chatting to you and getting to know you. Look forward to going onto your show and having you again.
Definitely, man. I'll have you on. Cheers, and happy Christmas to you and all your viewers.
Take it easy, brother. Peace.
See you later, man.
See ya.